Welcome back to the Run Radio podcast. I'm Trina Rochelle, and my guest today, Mia Smithson. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you. You are with a business called the 30K program. So, what does that mean?
Yeah, great question. So we specialize in helping women to grow their careers. And to be a little bit more concrete, we help them to get a new higher paying job that they love within 12 coaching sessions.
12 coaching sessions. So that's a pretty quick amount of time for a big job. How do you start off tackling such a mission?
It all starts with a strategy, right? If you don't know where you're going, then you won't know if you've arrived, right? Oftentimes I see job seekers who do what's called the spray and pray. It is 11 o'clock at night, right? And maybe they've had a tough day at work and they just start applying left and right. Right? Are they researching the companies on Glassdoor? Do they know if this is in line with their long-term career direction? Oftentimes, no. Right? It's just this kind of like, it's kind of how like oftentimes people when they're like dieting, they'll see like the potato chips in like in their cupboard, and they're like, I need to have this, right? And it's a really similar concept. And so we really help women to first get really, really specific on their long-term objectives. And then it's all about setting up specific, measurable, time-bound, action-oriented, like baby steps of actually getting there, right?
So first of all, it can be very overwhelming. Like you're saying, you're on your job sites, looking around at everything that looks somewhat interesting. Like, oh, yes, that's going to be it, especially when you're in weak moments. How do you help people shift their mindset as they're searching out all of these options and get into a better frame of mind?
It's all about developing your acceptance criteria, right? So maybe, I'm looking for a company that has at least 3.5 stars or above on Glassdoor, where they have, work-life balance is one of the things listed as a part of their culture, right? It may be a certain salary that you're targeting, remote, it could be flexibility. There are like literally hundreds of different kind of things that you could negotiate for, but it's really about defining out what those key drivers are that will enable you to fulfill your longer term career objectives while still enjoying like the present and while still enjoying that next role immensely.
How did you get to figure out what it was that you were passionate about? How long did it take you to hone in and take yourself to the next level?
Okay, my career journey is definitely not, I would say, the standard. So right after college, I taught English in Thailand. And yeah, it was definitely unusual. I got back to the States and I was like, you know what? I want to get my doctorate in clinical neuropsychopharmacology. And everyone in my family is a doctor, right? And so that's just it's a very normal thing. My parents were like, yeah, oh my gosh, we'll connect you with people. Like that was just a very, normal thing in my family. And so I did the pre-doctoral training. I got accepted into one of the top doctoral programs for, neuropsychopharmacology. And concurrently, I was supporting myself by working as a technical recruiter. And I just started really falling in love with it. I still have thank you notes from people who I've helped them find jobs that they just really, really love, right? And it's really like you hear it in their voices, like this impact that is made when people find that new job that they adore. And then on the company side, right, you're able to hear from these hiring managers who are like, oh my gosh, I really wanted this person and now they're here and now, we can move with so much more speed and they just fit so well and integrate into our culture so well. And that to me is it's so like exhilarating. And so long story short, I ended up having to make a decision do I continue on, finish the doctoral program and set up a clinical practice and go that route? Or do I instead go the route of talent management? And I chose talent management. And so, I worked at a consulting firm for about a year, and then I started working at a SaaS company, and I started off as a technical recruiter. Year 2, I got like not 1, not 2, but 3 promotions, which I know is also very unusual. So I've never been a manager, actually. I went straight to senior manager, and then I got promoted again to the global director of talent management, overseeing a workforce of 807 countries. And so that, though, is not a ordinary path. But I would say the big thing is that, I meditate every day for at least 30 minutes. I aim for an hour, but at least 30 minutes every day. And I spend a lot of time like actually knowing those like thoughts that bubble up. So like oftentimes people will mute feelings with scrolling on social media and, eating food and like doing these things that kind of mute the discomfort in life. But the quote I live my life by is discomfort is a currency of your dreams, right? So if you're not achieving the results that you want, you're just simply not putting yourself in enough discomfort, right? And so that I would say is one of the key shifts for me, is like learning how to not mute my feelings and actually understand like what I'm thinking and what I want in like a long-term perspective. And then it's all about developing that strategy of how to get there. Right. But like, I didn't understand that until I actually started like testing out different aspects of the, that I've done within my career. And then also just spending time in silence.
Just having a calm place to pause.
Yeah, like you oftentimes know the right answer when you look inside of yourself. And it's very easy to always say, I need more information, when typically what you need more of is courage, right? You need the courage to do the thing that you really want to do, but that is maybe hard or uncomfortable, or there's uncertainty around it. Right. And so that's oftentimes why a coach can be helpful, is because they kind of peel back those layers of doubt and those layers of, I need more information and I need like, and what if this, and they kind of like, they basically help you to achieve that goal and like work through those limiting beliefs.
What do you think is one of the number one things that specifically women are doing wrong or should be doing better when it comes to negotiating their worth, their salary in a position, when they know it's time to take it to the next level, but there's often a lot of red tape?
Well, I would say it's like a mental construct that there's red tape. There isn't always. It's oftentimes like you think it's way harder. And so it ends up being way harder because that's what you imagine it will be like. So I've done like 5,000 interviews at this point in time, and I've noticed something really fascinating, and it's this concept of graspy energy. So when I interview someone, like, and this happens oftentimes when it's someone who has a rock star resume, I'm so excited to talk to them. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're perfect for this role, right? And then they get on the phone and they don't allow any pauses. And they have this like mentality where I can almost tell this sounds so weird, but I can almost tell what they're thinking. It's like, I need a job. Like, I just really need a job. Like, please, blah, blah. Like, literally, that's kind of the thought that I hear in the background, even though those aren't the words that they're saying, right? And how this shows up is it'll be like, okay, oh, like, do you have experience with like this specific thing? And they'll be like, oh, no, I don't have experience with that. And I wanted to do that within this one thing, but then it didn't quite work out. Like, it's this kind of like, oh my gosh, like you can tell that like they do not believe in themselves, which makes it really, really tough for a recruiter to believe in you if you are not believing in you. You know what I'm saying? Because a recruiter is going to have to sell you internally to all of the stakeholders. They're going to have to be like, oh my gosh, I talked to Sally Joe. You need this person on your team. Sally Joe knocked it out of the park, like has the exact type of like whatever React and AI experience that you're looking for. She is at like go like this person is going to be amazing. And like you it honestly does all start with like belief in yourself, which enables you to further have that belief in your skill set, and then speak in a way with more like authority in who you are as a person.
So
And
you
from
think,
that, what?
sorry, I'm sorry. You think though that then women are kind of discounting themselves and not being confident when they show up to interviews then. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, 100%. I think that
Okay.
that is a large part of the reason why women make 17.7% less than men do in the United States on average.
When I said red tape, what I meant was a lot of times you'll get a lot of bureaucracy that you're told that you have to go through to get to the next level, or it's going to take time. We don't have budget. What do you say to that when you feel like someone's done the work? She feels like she's ready to go. She's got her confidence up, and then she's being told these kind of delays or
Okay.
processes that have to.
Well, and so that is true sometimes, right? I mean, sometimes companies don't have the extra budget to. I mean, when you look at it statistically speaking, companies promote, and it ranges, but it's typically about 10% of their workforce every single year, and that's typically what they allot budget for. So not everyone will be promoted every year, right? But I think it's about um, build like showing so much value and giving and giving and giving and demonstrating that value. And typically, I mean, in my experience, I've always seen value be rewarded, right? If you're that go-getter, you're bringing up those ideas, you are like, knocking your sales quota out of the park, people are going to notice. So like, yeah, if they don't have budget in the next 6 months to promote you, if you keep that up, I mean, I don't know too much. Like you are most likely, will make that happen. Yeah, it's interesting. I think that what I oftentimes see though is that people take the opposite approach, and it's this like, I need to be promoted because I've been here for 3 years.
Mhm.
And like that is not the type of thing that will get you that promotion. Instead, it's the mindset of like, what is the value that I'm bringing? How can I demonstrate more value and actually like give to this company even more? Because that is the type of behavior that promotes. And it may not be, once again, this week, it may not be even in the next 6 months, but that is the behavior that gets rewarded. And I've seen that time and time again.
Do you think the value of seniority is outdated?
Mm, no, I think that seniority, like, are you meaning someone who's been with a company for a really long time being like
Mhm,
undervalued? Is that what you're saying?
mhm.
No, I would not say so. I think if it's the type of company that you'd want to work with, they value people who've been there for a really long time. I mean, that's what I've seen shown. Uh, yeah, I mean, oftentimes it's the people who've been there for a really long time that they know the deep nuances of what's going on in the organization. Like, I think that alone is a piece of value that someone new just wouldn't have. Yeah.
Tell me about a client that you've had and you've watched them come in with, no concept of what they want or where they're going, and then to just thrive.
Yeah, it's interesting. I will say that the majority of the people that we work with are at a level in their career already where they have some sort of a plan, but it's more so the like clarifying of the plan and the tightening up of it. You know, like we don't typically help someone who is like just graduating and is like, I don't know what to do. Like it's typically someone who has built up a level of credibility in a specific space. So one example would be yeah, there was someone who was a recruiter making about like $80,000, and she wasn't enjoying what like the company culture, and just like she loves recruiting, but she wasn't enjoying necessarily like the specifics of being a part of that organization. And she felt like she was underpaid for the value that she was delivering. And so I helped her to increase her compensation, and she uh, increased it to, I think it was like 125. And then on top of that, there was like a bonus structure and like stock as part of that. And so that was super cool because it happened in just a couple of months, and the company culture at that new place was like exactly what she was targeting, and was just something that just really aligned with, yeah, what she was looking for in a company.
What's what do you like most about your job in helping people develop, grow, and explore and develop their talent?
Say, I think it's helping people like get to know themselves better, and honestly be more confident in themselves. I think that that would be considered a strategic byproduct of the work that I do. Because if you learn the skills of negotiation, you learn how to, you know, have that architect your career strategy, you learn how to really rely on doing what you say you will do and then following through on that, that like instills a level of confidence that is like undeniable, where regardless of the circumstance, you know, like even if they didn't get the first job or the second job or whatever it was, like they have a stronger belief in themselves, and then that has a ripple effect in other areas of their life. So now all of a sudden they're like negotiating with, you know, their husband or wife, and they're saying, hey, can you can you do the dishes and I'll cook dinner, right? And they're kind of realizing that life can be molded, and that it doesn't have to be this kind of like rigid, well, we have to do it like this and our parents did that, and like it's just, I feel like it's this kind of empowerment that you start to see that's really exciting.
Okay, so I see a fun thing on your on your bio here about how you love cauliflower rice and you're obsessed with salsa dancing. So is that some of the stuff you do in your downtime when you're not meditating or working hard?
Yeah, that is definitely true. So I think cauliflower rice is way better than real rice. And I know that's a controversial statement, but it's so good,
It is
and
good.
it's so versatile. Like you can literally make anything of it. So yeah, I mean, I honestly like I've had to put myself on like a cauliflower rice, like I would eat it every single day if I could, but it's kind of overdoing cauliflower. So so there's that. And then salsa dancing is really really enjoyable. I did salsa and swing dancing a ton in college,
Oh, cool.
and I did gymnastics for 10 years. And so within salsa dancing, like you can integrate in flips. I mean, I would say it's probably not like the entry level salsa dancing moves, but like as you grow in your experience in it, it's like really, really fun to do.
So I mean, it sounds like you are constantly like you just feel to me like energy. So, can you explain? I mean, I feel like there is something very important about making sure that your level of energy is expressed in order to be better when you're trying to propel your career forward. Do you see a connection between that?
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing that helps is a gamification of discomfort, which is probably not what you're expecting. But I count the rejections that I have. So like right now, I have from January 1, I have hold on, I can tell you the exact amount. Okay, I'm not dating. I have like 100, roughly 120 rejections from January 1. And I really need to step up my game. I would like to finish this year with at least 500, right? Because I know that the more rejections that I have, the more successes that I'll also have. And so I think it's like an unattachment to like the outcome of things. And it doesn't mean that you do not care about the thing. It is that you do care about the thing, but at the same time, you know that whether it's this or whether it is something else, like you will not stop until you find the thing that like aligns with whatever you're looking for. You know what I'm saying? So I oftentimes think of I don't know if you've ever gone, sometimes they have them at grocery stores and they have this like chipmunk game. And it's this like whack-a-mole. And so you basically like whack down these like chipmunks and they like pop back up. And so it's like you walk them down and then they pop back up, and then you walk them and you knock them down and they pop back up. And that's kind of like how I imagine, like if you can treat like rejection and failure like that, it just becomes so fun because like you don't now, like you're not trying to avoid those things. Like that is just like it's part of the journey of like doing anything meaningful.
So tell everyone why they should connect with you and how they can connect with you.
Yeah. So you can go to the 30kprogram.com and you can download Master the 7 Seconds, which walks through our framework for, working through your resume. It has resume samples from people who worked at Microsoft, at Airbnb, at Google, and has like resume keywords from Harvard. So yeah, and that's completely free. And then you can also schedule a consult call as well.
All right. And again, that website one more time.
The 30kprogram.com. If you Google it, our SEO we're number one ranked. So you can just type it in, you'll find us.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.